Hey everybody, welcome back to this Let's Play of Final Fantasy III for the PlayStation Portable. I am Drak. Let's get to it, shall we? So, last time we were trying to take on some of the side quests that we can take on right now, just to kind of help things along. We're going to be doing that again today. And basically that's going to be, we're going to start taking care of the, I believe the next thing up is the summon magic. So we're going to actually go and get some of the rarer summons in this game, and later on in other games too. But before we do that, we actually have to go to the floating island, because that's actually where they are. I like the fact that they actually did bring you back to the floating island just for this, with the Invincible. So this is Lake Galore, and you can see that little shadow going on in the distance, or in the water. This is actually one of the summons. So, if you're a Final Fantasy veteran, you know who it is. If you are not, well, you're going to find out. But we're going to go ahead and exit the Invincible and get into our canoe. We're going to go attack it. Which in turn actually activates a dungeon, like Door. That's a little weird, I'll admit, but okay. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. Thankfully, the dungeon isn't that long, and we can cut to the chase, and it does have some good items. So we have High Potion, we have another High Potion, we have another High Potion, and we have an Elixir. That would have been better if it was 4 Elixirs, to be honest. Just because you can't purchase. You can't purchase elixirs, but you can purchase high potions. Just saying. And we have some weird crab-looking monsters. A lot of this stuff is going to be kind of sea-themed. You guys notice that we got a... this game's equivalent of like a Lamia Queen or something like that. Kind of a Naga-esque kind of thing. No, not the Warcraft Naga. Heavenly Wrath, Phoenix Down, those are helpful. Earthen Drums, and Arctic Wind. So the Earthen Drums are actually something that could be used, I believe, by the Bard or the Geomancer, one of the two. So deeper and deeper we go, and while we're making our way through Lake Door, one of the questions that I do get asked a lot is, what are you currently playing? Where are you at in it? What are your thoughts on it? Let's go ahead and get into a few of those, because I have been able to get back to something of a regular schedule. So I think I'm really close to the end of BioShock Infinite. I just barely did the whole event with Lady Comstock and learning Elizabeth's origins. That was a really cool event, or a really cool concept in this game, and the fact that it was halfway kind of a ghostly thing and halfway having to deal with the whole terror concept that Elizabeth can do. That is awesome. I enjoyed myself in those moments, and I was kind of surprised that entering Comstock House was not the kind of the final area, but I'm really close, I think. So I'm really enjoying the game. Really good. A question that I've gotten with BioShock Infinite, are you actually going to try and tackle the DLC? Yes, I think I've said that in previous parts too. I will tackle the BioShock Infinite DLC. However, I'm going to be a little selective with it. The first one, the Fire in the Skies, I think is what it's called, the PvP one, I probably won't do, because multiplayer just isn't my thing. It's not enjoyable for me. But the Rapture stuff, oh, totally. I'm totally doing the Rapture stuff. Just because I want to see it. I want to see what Rapture would look like in BioShock Infinite engine, and whether or not this would be the rundown Rapture that was in the first BioShock, or if it's going to be a whole different version. Alright, I think we're getting really close to the end here. Yep, I think this is the bottom. So this is the final room. It makes you wonder, what summon are we going to get? Well, I'm not telling. Final Fantasy fans have figured this out. because it's not hard if you're going into a water-based area. The summons in Final Fantasy are not horribly different each time. The only time when I've actually seen them take a different version has been in 12, where they redid them all. And then, funniest thing, they went back to them because it didn't work out. So I'm just making sure that I have the charges and all the stuff that I'm going to need. And here we go. I am Leviathan. Only those strong in the light may receive my aid. Let us test the light within you. Leviathan attacks you. Yes, it is Leviathan. And he is kind of the... If you haven't played a Final Fantasy game before, which you should, by the way, if you get to a summoning portion, if you want a water elemental one, Leviathan is usually your pick. There's only been a couple of times where they've offered a different guy along with Leviathan, or in Leviathan's place. But he's usually your water summon. And he's not too bad. Thankfully, we have some new items for our Dark Knight and a couple of new spells. So we're going to nuke him pretty hard, pretty quick. Round 2. Thundaga. I swear, if I'm saying that wrong, guys, let me know. But to me, it's either Thundaja or Thundaga. One of the two. I've got a great idea. How about Blizzard? You go back to the original concept. Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3. Bolt 1, Bolt 2, Bolt 3. I know it's boring, but it worked. Wow, that was a critical 900? Oh no. He turned me into stone. Stupid Leviathan. For that, you get a lightning strike. And now I have to get Luneth out of there. So he'll actually get some XP for this. Gold Needle. Thankfully, I stocked up on the things. Thundaga. And he's still got some HP. Wow. This is going to be one of those times where he's going to take a while, isn't it? No, not really. I'm actually a little over-leveled for this, and this is actually his featured ability if you have a summoner. For some weird reason, if you have an evoker or later on the sage class, he does random ones, but if you're a summoner, he actually will do his trademark Tsunami. Which is weird, but it worked, I guess. Boom! Game! So, was the light within us strong? I'd like to know. The light is indeed strong, or your light is indeed strong. I am at your service. Obtain the summoning spell, Leviath. I love it. They have to abbreviate it because there's so many characters. Leviathan. Now, what's going to happen later on is that I actually am going to give the summons to Ark, because he will start doing both black magic as well as summoning. Because some of the random benefits are worthwhile from these creatures. But now that we have taken care of Lake Door, let's go ahead and get the other summon that we can get right now. But before we do that, time to sleep in the Invincible, because we can do it for free. I like free. Free works. Okay, so now that we've gotten the sleep done, let's go ahead and head to the next area, which, if you play this game, is actually a really optimum place to level once you get to a certain point. Like, if you're trying to level for the final areas, really great place to level. Aside from the final areas, but I wouldn't recommend that. So you're going to love this whole concept when we get there. And we did take a wrong turn, because this is the Sasane area. I had to think about it. Sasane, Kazas, you know, where the orphans are from. Now this guy's a little familiar to people. Because we actually had a run-in with him earlier. But right now I'm just trying to... I have to find the right landmark so that I can get there. And I'm not finding it. Is this gonna be it? It's funny, when I'm grinding, I find it right off the bat. But not right now. Oh, there we go. That's where I was looking for. Pirate's Cove. So we have a little wall here that we can cross with the Invincible. And this little cave? What could be here in this little cave? Well, let's find out. Welcome, everybody, to Bahamut's Lair. Or Bahamut. I'm going to say Bahamut, because I'm used to saying that. Yes, so, for people who have played Final Fantasy games, and for people who haven't, Bahamut is usually almost always the near-end summon you will get. He's the most powerful. Mainly because in most of the games, he is non-elemental damage. He's just a plain nuke. This is no different. But the added bonus is that if you come to his area before the final area, this actually yields great experience. I'm guaranteeing you at least 3,000 XP per battle. Most of the time it's 5. Which, as you can probably admit, that takes a lot off the grinding time. That's awesome. The other thing that I do like about Bahamut is that usually he's like, as far as the story is concerned, he's like the god of summons. He's the ultimate. Nobody messes with him, or he's got great titles like the Dragon King. I actually do like the Dragon King. I think that was from 9, where they called him the Dragon King Bahamut. Oh, that was awesome. And the closest thing we got in 12 to these actual names was like the airships were named them. So the final one was called the Bahamut. I'm sorry, the Bahamut. It's okay. So while we're making our way, so here's another game that I actually did get around to doing. So I finally completed Borderlands. It's been a long road, and Borderlands, I swear, took a piece of my soul, but we did it. I finished up the Claptrap Revolution, or Robolution DLC, and again, I probably said this over and over, but final verdict. Borderlands is a good game. However, the story in the original game is kind of lacking, and I'm thankful that the DLC fixed that. It was refreshing. It actually felt like a good game at that point, and not just a slog through. I mean, even, like, this might even get some people mad, but, you know, a lot of people compare Borderlands to Diablo, as far as mechanics. And it's true, except, in my opinion, Diablo was better because the story kept you engaged throughout the whole thing. I get a lot of people weren't happy with the story. I was, especially since I was brand spanking new to Diablo 3 and loved it. So I didn't hate it as much as others did. I don't know why they did. And that was kind of my issue, is like, Diablo did that right, and Borderlands didn't until the DLC. And that was just kind of silly to me. Are you strong enough to defeat me? Well, let's find out. It's kind of an ominous cave entrance right there. So yeah, that's my final verdict on Borderlands. Loved it. I'm very excited to do Borderlands 2, but I'm going to take a break because I've gotten recommended to play Dark Souls. So I have another game that's going to take a piece of my soul. Alright, so we are facing Bahamut. And that's usually the design that we've gone through in the 3D models. Very cool, as far as a dragon. And of course, the first turn is going to be as much nuking as we can. The other interesting mechanic of a Bahamut boss fight is usually there will be a countdown of some kind. Now, in this one, there really isn't, but he'll count down to his signature attack. Mega Flare, and in this one, I don't think there ever was, but starting in 4, there will be a countdown, and I love that concept of the fight. Because usually what that means is you have to, like, cast Reflect on everybody before he gets it. And then it'll bounce back and hit him. And because it's not an elemental, it'll hurt him for the same amount of damage. Trust me, when I get into the later games, summons are going to be used quite a bit. With the exclusion probably being 6. And that's just because the summons are a different mechanic in that game. 8 too, they're different mechanics, but we'll probably use them in 8. Alright, next round, we're going to play it safe and just go with Kiraja. Actually, I can't do that, because there actually is a Kiraja in the game. And game. And now I have Bahamut. I are excited now. Yeah. Obtain the summoning spell, Bahamur. Love translation, guys. Localization team, you missed that one, I think. Okay, so this one I wasn't sure if the teleport would actually let me do it because the end of the dungeon does take you out into the world. So I did run my way back. But thankfully, I did play quite a bit of games, so we have stuff to talk about. So yeah, I completed Borderlands, loved that. People wanted an update on this. Dragon Warrior 3, I did get back into it. I have nothing to update because I've been doing nothing but grinding. I've been trying to afford new items for my characters in Ramali Castle, and that's really all I have done. But thankfully, I'm almost done with that, and I can start experiencing the story again. So people can be happy. I got back into Dragon Warrior 3, like I said I was going to. It was just going to take some time. And I apologize for taking time. It's been busy. And with the holidays, it's going to get busier. Because it is the beginning of November right now, which means pretty soon we're going to have Thanksgiving, Black Friday, bunch of Drak and Shadow stuff. Since this is kind of when our holiday LPs go up. Thankfully, we have gotten through the October one, and we're just barely starting the November one, which is Portal. We decided to dig out the Portal games, because we like them. We're not hardcore Valve fans, but we like Portal. Which is funny, because we do get the question a lot, like, have you guys played Half-Life? No. If it's a shooter, pretty much guarantee I haven't played it. Unless I say I have. So like BioShock, I played that. Call of Duty, no. That's the way it goes sometimes, guys. But thankfully we are actually done with a lot of the side questing that we needed to do for the moment. There actually is more stuff that we can do. But we are actually going to continue the story now. So back into the story, Une helped us get the Invincible, so now we're going to head to the Cave of Shadows, which is where the Fang of the Earth is, which we can use to go into Zan's domain. Really, it's more like Zan's tower. But hey, it works. Now I just have to find my way back, which means I have to go through the wonderful invincible maze again. Oh, and I didn't even go the right way. Woohoo! All right, this is the right direction. So, this is the beginning of the invincible maze. To get people used to the invincible mechanics. So get used to hearing that quasi fart noise. Okay, so almost there. Now, the cool part about the Cave of Shadows is that it is associated with Dark Knights a little bit, so we will be able to see some Dark Knights in there. Or, I'm sorry, this game's equivalent of Samurai. And kind of ninjas, but there actually is a ninja job class. So, take them where you can get them. I don't think that's the right one, is it? Nope. No, it is. And here we go, the Cave of Shadows. Because we don't technically land on this thing. It's too big. Alright, let's start this thing up. And obviously it's... I have come here from Falgabard for further training. Some monsters in this cave divide and multiply when attacked by normal means. I love the look of this, because it's got, like, bones everywhere. It's got that whole, you shall not pass kind of thing. Forbidden cave. And it's littered with Dark Knights. Or, not littered, but there are a couple who are trying to make their way through it. So, Dark Claws... Oh, and there's another Dark Knight. Let's talk to him.
It seems my dark blade was too weak, but it may have been my destiny to be here and to meet you. Take this with you if you wish to venture forth.
Kotetsu, which we don't need, because we visited your buddies in Falgabard. And he died. No! One less Dark Knight in the world. Now, another cool mechanic of this specific dungeon, I don't know if this was actually in the NES version, but I would love it if it was, is this Cave of Shadows literally lives up to its name. There are actually a lot of shadow paths that you can take to get through the dungeon as well as to chests. And I love that whole concept, because when the game does that, it's a unique mechanic of, am I walking the right way? Because you cannot tell. I love it when, like, in later games, castles will have this mechanic. It really is fun. And more... I want to say, like, demon-themed enemies, but not really. We have a six-legged horse, so that's reminding me of Odin, but... There we go. So this is the next floor. And deeper and deeper into the Bone Cavern. That's what this place should have been called, is the Bone Cavern. And I've gotten myself lost. This is one of those things where, one of those times where maps are helpful. Maps are your best friend. Okay. Next floor. More demon bones that look like Diablo. Now those look kind of... Well, one looks kind of Cthulhu-esque and the other one just looks like a big lizard. Okay. Whatever floats your boat, guys. And as we can all see, I am not running through this properly at all. Oh, there we go. Here's a new area. This might help. If I'm not getting attacked all the time. Cool, so we just got through that. Keep making our way. I don't think there was any chest. Oh, there was one. But I think that was it on this floor. Genji gloves. Those will be helpful for a Dark Knight. So much so that we're going to put it on right now. I believe it's only Dark Knights that can use them. Maybe even ninjas. But that's going to have to do it for this week. So when we get back, when we get back next week, we're going to finish up the Cave of Shadows. In the meantime, I am Drak, and this has been a Let's Play of Final Fantasy.